culture. Classic pop culture.
Hi everybody, this is Steve Ludwig, host of Steve Ludwig's Classic Pop Culture and the Beatles Hour with Steve Ludwig, both at planetludwig.com. Here's an interview we did with Peter Rechter, leader of the legendary Australian garage band Tol Puddle Martyrs. During the interview, he's joined by fellow Australian Joe Mandica. Joe also does our YouTube channel introductory song. The show was recorded on February 18th, 2014, and it's show number 28. To hear the entire show, just find it in the menu at planetludwig.com. And now, please enjoy the interview.
Seems like man can't trust his kind today. Love has died and death is here to stay. Guess I'll pack and fade away on a cloud so far away. Time will come when death will pave the way. All is gone from love that is today. Sell your soul and live, that is the way. So you'll stop and fade away on the cloud so far away. In a world that we can be what we say. You better stop, look and listen. You're going down fast and your time has passed. You better stop, look and listen. It's your last chance with the one with green grass. Time is up, you better move away. On a cloud the journey's far away. Live a life of love with me. It will last eternally. Know a love that's new and also free. Up, we better move away. On our cloud, the journey's far away. Come with me and fade away. Live and love another day. Time will come when death will pave the way. Time will come when death will pave the way.
Now, everybody, how about that for a garage band? Time will come. And our next guest, we have a couple of guests. Our next guest who sang that song, he has been referred to by Popism Radio show as an unsung pop superhero. I couldn't agree more. Peter Noone has this gentleman's music as part of his regular rotation on his car player. 60sgaragebands.com says, I believe time will come to be a classic. My gosh, I cannot agree anymore. Our guests this evening, we've spoken with Joe Mandica, he's with us, and the leader of Tol Puddle Martyrs, Peter Rechter. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Hi, Steve.
It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Our pleasure. Peter, may I start with you? First of all, can you give... I am all set for such a musical extravaganza coming up. We have a lot of your music and yours and Joe's music to play during this time. Give us a little background, first of all. Tol Puddle Martyrs. It's an interesting name. I did some research, but can you let our listeners know what's the story behind the Tol Puddle Martyrs name?
The Tol Puddle Martyrs. Well, when I was at high school, I studied British history, And I was also in a band called Peter and the Silhouettes, who recorded Claudette Jones. And
Yep.
bands
You opened
were
up the show with that song, as a matter of fact, Peter.
Thank you for that, Steve.
Sure.
Bands were changing their names at that particular time. We were Peter and the Silhouettes, and there were Cliff Richard and the Shadows, and then other bands were coming in like the Kinks and the Animals and the Rolling Stones, and we thought we better keep up to date with things and change our name. And one of the topics that we studied in British history was the Tol Puddle Martyrs, so I thought that was a pretty cool name, and so we opted to change our name to that, to the Martyrs, and that's how it all happened.
It's a very cool name, and
There was
gosh,
also a link.
just go ahead.
There was a link between England and Australia because the Tol Puddle Martyrs, they were transported to Australia for meetings secretly. So they served time of, I think it was about 7 years over here until they were reprieved and went back to Tol Puddle, and they actually built little cottages for them to say that they were sorry.
Well, and you're still banished to Australia, huh, Peter?
That's right, yes.
You and Joe are both banished.
Right.
I got turned on to you by Joe Mandica. Joe, how are you, by the way?
I'm good, Steve. How are you?
Great, and I want our listeners to know Joe will also be with us next week to speak about his CD, 1,000 Miles, and the initiative. But Peter and Joe are a songwriting team, and as we go on with the conversation, Joe, I'll ask you to tell us a few things about the songwriting partnership between you and Peter. But Peter, I have Joe sent me 3 of the Tol Puddle Martyrs CDs, Psych Out USA, A Celebrated Man, and Flying in the Dark. What I thought we would do is I chose a couple of songs with you. We've been emailing back and forth, and I thank you for that. A couple of songs or 3 from each of the CDs, and we'll talk about them.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I am such a sucker, Peter, for sitar sound and garage sound. Let's talk first about Psych Out USA. Tell us about the CD first of all, and then I'd like to ask you specifically about a couple of the songs on there.
There was a collection of songs that I'd had for, I guess, over a period of time, and there are various tracks on there. There's protest songs, there's rock songs, there's a couple of little love songs on there. But the song Psych Out USA, I was in contact with a DJ in America called Robbie Russell, and he wrote to me and said he'd been playing my music and said, I'm starting a new show called Psych Out USA. Could you do a theme for me? And I thought, well, I'll give that a try, and so I came up with with that song, Psych Out USA, and it was a retrospective look at what happened in Haight-Ashbury and Golden Gate Park, and like we observed it over here just on the telly, just from afar. But I remember it pretty vividly that time, and that's what that song's all about, and that's how it came about. We wrote it for Robbie Russell, and it was about looking back at that time.
Peter, you've captured the time, the feeling of the time so well with this song. Listeners, we're gonna hop on our magic carpets because really it takes back to that time period. Let's listen to it, everybody. Psych Out USA, Peter Rechter with Tol Puddle Martyrs.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay.
Right back to me, Psych Out USA. Psycho USA. And I go back now to the steps of the garden sound. Won't you let me take you there? I hear the sounds of calling. I see the colors of my dreams. I feel a new day dawning. Rainbows forming psychedelically. I saw the chosen people reach out for peace and love, and now I'm right back shooting Psycho USA. I heard the voice of wisdom. I saw the power of love, and now I'm right back shooting Psycho West. Right back shooting Psycho West. Right back shooting Psycho West. You're on the telephone. Always busy talking when we're all alone. I know that you're gonna throw it all away. Got my motor running, it's pumping night and day. You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about everything and all the things that you do. You got me thinking about you. Got me thinking about you. I just wanna hold you tight. Love you in the morning and hold you close at night. I know that you're gonna throw it all away. Got my motor running, it's pumping night and day. You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about everything and all the things that you do. You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about you. Yeah! You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about everything and all the things that you do. You got me thinking about you. Got me thinking about you. Got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about everything and all the things that you do. You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about you. You got me thinking about you.
And thinking about you, talk about, boy, I am a Kinks fan, and Peter, following Psych Out USA with Thinking About You from the Psych Out USA album, I take it you were a Kinks fan. You are a Kinks fan.
I'm a huge Kings fan and a huge Ray Davies fan, and I never get sick and tired of hearing Ray's songs, especially You Really Got Me, and I always wanted to write a song like You Really Got Me, and I'd love for Ray to hear it, but that's my You Really Got Me. And Ray, as I said, he's been a massive influence on me musically.
It's there. I do hear the the "You Really Got Me" influence, but Peter, it's also your song. I mean, you've got it. You've made a nice little separation. It's a Kinks feel, but it's you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a similar theme. Like there are so many songs that have a similar theme, but yeah, as I said, I always wanted to write a song like that, and that's my "You Really Got Me" track.
Yeah, I want to go on to the Celebrated Man in a few minutes, but and then we're going to talk about how you and Joe were in a band together too, the Secrets. But let's go all the way back. We opened the show with a song from '66 by Peter and the Silhouettes, Claudette Jones. Was that your first group, Peter? Peter and the Silhouettes? Was that your first?
That's the first band that I played in, and that's the first song that I was ever involved with writing. And it was, we were asked at the time, I come from a place called Bendigo, and Bendigo was where the gold rush was in the 1850s. Mm-hmm. And there were a number of bands in the region, and country bands never seemed to get very much recognition. So our manager and our agent, they put together an idea, just like Joe did with the Initiative, getting a whole lot of different artists together, and they put this album together called The Scene. And we were asked to write 2 tracks, a rocker and a ballad, and Claudette Jones was our rocker. And it stood the test of time, Steve.
Oh my goodness, has it ever? Actually, you've re-recorded it in, I'm sorry, the 2001, is that correct?
2001, and it's been recorded by, I'd say, at least a dozen different bands around the world.
Mm-hmm. It's just a classic rocker, and I'm so glad to open up the show with that. Now, A Celebrated Man, a couple of years later. First of all, I'm sorry to interrupt, Peter, but I want all our listeners to know all of Peter's music is available at Amazon.com for sure, iTunes, on iTunes.com, and the Tol. I'm sorry,
and CD Baby.
cdbaby.com, and Tol Puddle Martyrs. The link, everybody, you can find it on the links page on planetludwig.com, but it's TOL-puddle, PUDDLE, and Martyrs, MARTYRS, Tol Puddle Martyrs. A Celebrated Man, Peter.
Yes.
And the thing that is driving me crazy is that I'm only choosing 2 or 3 songs from these CDs, but like the Initiative, like I've mentioned to Joe, every single song is a great hit song. And I hate to even I want all our listeners to get these CDs because you're missing out. Just the songs that I'm presenting, there's so much more that Peter has to offer with Tol Puddle Martyrs. What can you tell us about A Celebrated Man?
Well, A Celebrated Man is actually about my son. And he is actually like the person described in the song. He's just like that man. He's intelligent, he's handsome, he's clever, he's good at sport, he's a lawyer.
I think if I may quote, he's tall and handsome, rising, kind-hearted, mesmerizing, diplomatic, celebrated man.
Indeed.
Now that I hear a little Ray Davies type influence there with that. It sounds like a Ray Davies kind of
feel.
Yeah,
right.
And I love the French horn in the song as well, Peter.
Well, it's actually a piccolo trumpet.
I think I said that, didn't I? I love the piccolo trumpet. It must have sounded like French horn, but I said piccolo trumpet.
That was Harry. We went to university together. We were at the conservatorium together, and Bob, trumpet player, and when I contacted him, I asked him if he had a piccolo to get that baroque sound, and he did, and we went in, and a few takes he got it, and that's Bob Harry. Bob's a good friend and a great player.
Well, it might be a good time. Why don't we listen to A Celebrated Man? And we're going to follow it up, Peter, with another of the fantastic songs on the CD called The News. And I chose this song. By the way, Peter, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to choose some of the songs to play tonight. Beetle George had left this place, and now there's only 2. Everywhere I went, I felt emotion. whenever I hear lyrics or something about the Beatles, I'm a Beatlemaniac. And this is such a wonderful song as well, The News. Before we go into A Celebrated Man in the News, how about the Beatles? You're a Beatle fan, I would assume?
I love them. Love them.
Yeah.
I got all their albums when they first came out, all the singles when they first came out. When they reissued them, I got them again. Then I got them on CD. Then with the remastered CDs,
Yep.
I've got them in stereo and mono, and now I'm starting to get the vinyl, the albums.
Yeah. Oh.
I like the Beatles.
Yeah, they're okay. They had one or two good songs, actually.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Speaking of one or two good songs, let's listen to these two fantastic songs from The Celebrated Man. Let's start off with The News and then the title song of the album, The Celebrated Man, about Peter's son. The News and A Celebrated Man. Here we go, everybody. Wow, and those are only two songs, everybody, from this A Celebrated Man CD by Tol Puddle Martyrs. And the driving force behind Tol Puddle Martyrs is Mr. Peter Rechter. He's joined by Joe Mandica. Joe, a friend of the show. Joe has been so instrumental in hooking me up with Peter Rechter. I am so glad I discovered your music, Peter. I can't believe I'm so far behind the times with this. It's just so wonderful. And you and Joe, Peter, have a history. You've written songs together. As a matter of fact, back in '84, you and Joe were in a group called The Secrets. Why don't I'll leave this up to both of you to tell us about The Secrets.
Well, I think we started early, didn't we, Joe? It was about 82, was it?
Yeah, it was about 81, 82, I'd say. And Pete was Pete. The Secrets were already going. I remember going to see The Secrets live, play at a venue in Collingwood, and
the Tote,
the Tote. And I went in there, and they played only original songs. And I was, a guitarist looking for something to play, and every song was just like, wow! It was like a hit record, melodically, and I was, I'd love to join that band. An opportunity came up not long after.
That's right.
Two
of the
join.
guys left.
Yeah, and myself and the drummer Val Palladino. We joined up with Pete and Greg, and we started recording as The Secrets, and had some very good years. Yeah.
And what did you do, Joe? You just actually said, "Hey, Peter, I hear you're looking for somebody in the band," or?
No, I said, "Hey, Joe, where you going with that guitar, man?"
Yeah.
So no, look, I was actually Joe's. I taught Joe at high school, and Joe was always interested in music and published at music, and I saw him grow as a musician. That's how long I've known him for, Steve, to a young man, and we became friends through our interest in music, and we were looking for someone who was accomplished and reliable and was interested in the same things that we were interested in, and I thought of Joe immediately, and he got Val to come along, and I knew Val. I taught him as well. And we went into the studio and we did an EP of 4 tracks. I think Joe and Val learnt them all in one night. That'd be right, Joe?
Pretty much, yeah. We were just young, and we just were excited. The adrenaline was there, and we just wanted to do it. And it was
pumping.
It was very exciting, and started to get interested in writing myself, because I hadn't really written any music, and I'd only written a couple of songs at the start. But as the years have gone past, going to write majority of the songs on the album and collaborating with Peter as well. But definitely Pete's been a big influence. I couldn't have done it without his input.
You taught music, Peter, obviously.
Yeah, so I was a music teacher at high school, Steve.
Mm-hmm. I'm a teacher myself. I teach 8th grade English. My ex-students, Peter, I had written a book, and he is now an award-winning director, and he directed the promo video. So isn't it great the way students it's really it's a great dynamic there. So I'm happy to hear that. Boy, that's a great story with you with Joe as your student.
Well, one of my students, Anne Cecil, who was around the same year as Joe, she lives in New York now, and she played in the Philip Glass Ensemble. And
oh, really, with Philip?
And her husband, Sternan, her married name is now, he plays saxophone in the Philip Glass Ensemble, and Anne played flute.
Boy.
And, Joe and Anne were probably the best students that I've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can
things too.
I can see from Joe's work on the initiative and 1,000 Miles, you were a proud teacher. Well, why don't we do this? Why don't we listen to a song with Joe and you in The Secrets from 1980 called All the Way, talk about wonderful songs. And then I thought we'd go right into one of the 4 songs that you and Joe, you two guys collaborated with on the initiative called Every Little Thing. That was sung by Fortunato Isgro. We had Fortunato on a few weeks ago. So first, All the Way by The Secrets, Every Little Thing, Joe and Peter's two of the collaborations, and then we'll talk about the initiative and get back to Tol Puddle Martyrs. This is a great musical journey we're taking here with you guys. So here we go. Let's listen to All the Way by The Secrets.
You took me all the way. Now I know why love's sweet. You took me all the way. Now I know I'm complete. Don't throw our love away. I couldn't stand it if you loved me then turned away. After you gave yourself to me, you took me all the way. Now I know why love's sweet. You took me all the way. Now I know I'm complete. You took me. Please come around tonight so I can take you in my arms and just hold you tight. You gave your everything to me. You took me all the way. Now I know why love's sweet. You took me all the way. Now I know I'm complete. You took me all the way. All the way. You took me all the way. Every little thing you do to me, girl. Every little thing you say to me, girl. Every little thing. I love every little thing you do to me, girl. Every little thing you say to me, girl. Every little thing. I can't give you anything but love, love. You're the one that I've been thinking of, love. 'Cause I love, oh, every little thing you do to me, girl. Every little thing you say to me, girl. Every little thing. Please come over and hold me tight. Kiss me, darling. Hold me, hold me. When you're near me, it feels so right. I'm in love with you. Oh, 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 oh. 'Cause I love every little thing you do to me, girl. Every little thing you say to me, girl. Every little thing. Please come over and hold me tight.
That is, I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Rick just gave a great intro here. Every Little Thing from the Initiative CD, from the songwriting team of Peter Rechter and Joe Mandica. And Joe, I'm going to throw it over to you to talk a little bit about. You did 4 songs with Peter on the Initiative CD. Why don't you talk about those with us?
Yes, of course. There are 4 songs that we collaborated on, and I think they stem from the days with The Secrets. That's when we did them originally. Every Little Thing, what you just played, was probably one of the first songs that I helped compose. I mean, Peter was the main composer, and I was able to contribute, I think it was the middle 8 or something, but it was mainly a Peter song, but it taught me about structure of songs and hooks and timelines, etc. So that was a very good learning experience for me, and a very proud one, because all of a sudden I was in the band and I had a couple of songs that I'd written too. So that was Every Little Thing. We recorded that back with The Secrets, not officially released, but just as a demo. When Fortunato came around, he's such a pop singer.
It's a great singer. We
thought it would suit his. We heard it, and immediately came back to me and said, "I want to record it." And if the Beatles had recorded that, it would have been a one hit. And that's nice to hear from a younger band who's listening to music in a retrospective sort of way, to think that would have been massive in its day. But he's put his twist on it, and it sounds terrific. So I think Pete was very, very proud of that.
Really chuffed that one.
And I remember at our launch night when Fortunato opened the show with that song, I think Pete, you came backstage to congratulate Fortunato on that song. So that was a good one. It's True was another song.
Yeah, Grace Marino sings that on the Initiative. Tell us about It's True.
And that was
may I interrupt 1 second? What is the dynamic when you guys write together? One melody, one lyrics, or just kind of you bounce things off each other?
We bounce things off one another.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I might come up with something, and people then
elaborate on
it. We work together and also separately, I guess. But it's usually an idea that starts.
Forgive me for interrupting. It's True. How did that?
It was almost the end of The Secrets. I'd done this verse, and Peter and I said I thought it was a very verse and melody line, and back with the middle section, and which is just as strong. We put them together and love it. I love that song. I mean, I love them all, but that one there, melody of it, it's very dreamy.
And Joe does a great version of it too. Steve recorded it.
Yeah,
it's a great version.
Yeah. Has that been recorded?
It has.
Yes, there is a version. And actually, I'll just tell you the story. At my gigs on the weekends, I often play music during the breaks that is our original music from Peter and myself, and things we've done over the years. And my version of It's True was playing at a gig and she kept saying to me, when are you going to let your songs? And I said, when your stripes. But it was a bit tongue-in-cheek. But she said to me, I love this song. Beyond during the breaks, when me and Grace were performing together, every time we'd have a break, that song would come. And she said, I love this song. I thought maybe she could do a really good version. We took it to her key, and I think she's done a magnificent version and really put her stamp on it. So that's It's True. And, one of the major songs in the album. The other 2 songs, You Like Me, which I think Beverly Patterson describes as a bit of a Kinks type vaudeville thing. I don't know, Pete, you wrote more of that one than me.
I can't hear the Kinks there, but it's, I don't know. But we still bounce the ideas off each other.
I love Nino's. I love Nino's delivery in that song. By the way.
Yeah, it was with The Secrets back in The Secrets days, and I think we did separate parts. But the thing was that it's a nice, easy song to, and the Nino bit in it was just by accident. Right towards the end of the song, everything was recorded, and I wanted to put Grace doing some Andrew Sisters type, that sort of 40s. What's the name of their song? The
Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. No,
that's the one from Chattanooga. I was on my way to the studio. I was driving to the studio and thinking, what am I going to get her to sing? Wop wop. Some kind of corny thing. That's corny. And I pulled up to a set of traffic lights, and I thought Grace was waiting there, and I asked her to do it. She was in hysterics. Just get around.
It is so perfect, though, Joe.
But it's perfect, and it's fun. And now, as Nina mentioned, when he gets up and sings, there is people in the audience, chanting that. Hopefully, one day, 100,000 chanting it at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yes, absolutely.
That was that song, and then the final song on the album was "Getting It Together," which which Marty Penrose does. I think that was a melody that I'd started, but all the storyline is all Peter's, and a personal one. Pete, do you want to jump in there and mention?
Well, it's just about growing up and meeting somebody back home that's and that person ended up as my wife. So that's what the story is. And I've written a few songs about Sue. So on the Psych Out USA album, there's a song about her into my life. That's about how we met. But that song is also about how Sue and I met, all years ago.
And just to finish off, the thing was that once we gave these songs to the different singers, they gave them a brand new lease of life. I mean, it was incredible. Marty on that song,
which is incredible.
It's just it was perfect. It's just well, and then Taylor doing the harmonies and Nino taking over that song. I mean, we have our versions where we've done them, and we love them because we did them. But to people, I mean, it's a proud moment. I wonder how many musicians how good it feels when someone does a cover of your song. What's the biggest form? What is the saying? The biggest form of flattery, is it?
That's right.
So yes. For us, to hear someone else singing a song that we wrote.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, to hear, I am so happy, first of all, Joe, that, our mutual friend, Jeff Brown, turned me on to your music and how one thing led to another. And now I'm speaking with Peter Rechter, who is just, I mean, your music is so wonderful, and you obviously taught Joe well, Peter. Can we move on to your Flying in the Dark?
Let's say I planted the seed.
Yes, you absolutely did, and it has flourished and grown and all those superlatives. It really has. Flying in the Dark by Tol Puddle Martyrs. Can we talk about that CD?
We can, yes.
Okay.
That was a collection of mainly new songs, but there are a few that I've had for quite a while on there. Pain in My Heart was a song that I'd written 20-odd years ago. But the song Flying in the Dark is actually about Buddy Holly. Now, I was only a young boy and when Buddy started out, and I remember his music being played on the hit parade, and I can remember my brother coming home with a Buddy Holly album, and we didn't have a record player, and I thought, well, what's this all about? I went round to his friend's place, Max Beck, and they had a record player. The very first rock and roll album that I'd ever held in my hands and heard on a record player was Buddy Holly. So that's the connection there. And also, it's the 3rd of February over there.
As we speak, yes, the day the music died, yep.
That's exactly 55 years ago today in America.
Taped this interview, sure, the plane crash of Buddy Holly, Richard Valentine, the Big Bear.
Yeah, and I love Buddy's music, and he was, as I say in the song, he was a real pioneer, and he set up so many people, like even the Beatles emulated Buddy Holly. So many.
My goodness, did they ever?
And he was just so unique, and Joe loves him as well, and that's what that song's all about.
Yeah, even from you mentioned the Beatles, even from Buddy Holly producing his own music. I mean.
That's right.
He was so far ahead of his time, goodness.
And using sound on sound when so many other artists, they hadn't even heard of sound on sound. Mm-hmm. But he was using it as well. So he was a very clever man, wrote great pop songs, and it was just unfortunate that he left us at a very early stage in his life.
Yeah, I think it was 18 months is really the main period of time when he did all those hits. Well, from Flying in the Dark, I thought we'd play a couple of songs now, and then before we say goodbye, I'm going to choose another one from Flying in the Dark as well. But the two we're going to listen to first, Peter and Joe, Spend a Little Time. And, oh my gosh, talk about Poppy, Spend a Little. I just love the melody. If we keep good company, there might we both can agree. Great line, just a great line on that one. And the title song of the CD, Fly in the Dark. I mentioned this with Joe a few weeks ago that the universal language of love and broken heart. I followed you from the start, but then you went and broke my heart. Mm-hmm. Just two really wonderful songs, and I think Spend a Little Time and Flying in the Dark.
Well, spend a little time. Well, it's a love song, and it's like when you first meet somebody and you think, well, do I really want to be in this situation? And you get to a point you don't know which way to go. You get to the roundabout, and the traffic lights they're all out. So which way do we go? And then you find that you click, and when you spend a little time with each other, and so it grows, and that's what the song's all about. It's a love song, and that we can all relate to. And well, as I explained before, Flying in the Dark. Yeah. That's about Buddy Holly.
Yeah, right. So why don't we listen to two of them right now? Spend a little time, Flying in the Dark, written by the great Peter Rechter and performed the Tol Puddle Martyrs. Here we go.
I got caught up in a conversation that tried to find my